Okay, hello and welcome back to my channel again, the place where I review all my new pickups and then talk about all things sneakers, streetwear and sometimes even menswear. So as you will have seen from one of my last videos, this does include things like silhouette collection updates. As it's the end of the year, 2023, I have started that and did the video on the Air Max 1s. Going to continue that over the next couple of days into early January. I'm also going to do my top 9 of the year, 2 videos, one for 2023 pairs and then one for pairs that are that I bought this year. So I've already done both of those on Instagram, so I can now shoot the videos and I'll just kind of go through each of the pairs in hand, I guess. So all that aside, this is going to be an unboxing video. I've got a couple to do before I get into that. Last few little bits and bobs for the year. Yeah, let me get into the fit check. So today I have on winterized Jordan 3s from a couple of years ago. The string Fear of God sweatpants. It's either string or tan. I get the two mixed up. They're quite close. This is a black Feature Boutique hoodie out of, I think it's Las Vegas, Nevada. And then this is the walnut paper plane snapback. So you might have seen me with the black one on in a few videos. Also, I have this walnut brown. So here, let's get into the box. As we do this, I'll kind of mention a few things about this. So this is a purchase I made on sale. So you'll see them in a second, but most of the reviews are already out. I just wasn't willing to pay $210 and I knew they would go on sale. So here they are. Here is the special edition box. So you can see all this writing on the top here. I'll see if I can see what it says. And it's not a full sentence because it's kind of like cuts off bits around the edge, but you can see, I'll try and move it so you can see where the light kind of shines off of it. Hopefully if I move it to all these different angles, one of them you'll be able to see the print. And then the best way to see the gradient is on the back. There is a gradient on this colorway, so it does make sense. They'll just go through the box and the colorway. So this is the Air Jordan 3 Retro Night Stadium Total Orange. Total Orange is obviously orange, and you can see it on the Jumpman here. Night Stadium is basically a very dark grey. So let me get into them. So both out of the box. You can also see here the paper has that same writing on there. I think it will be cut off as well. Just double check and see. I'm scared of what I won't. Yeah, it's a whole Michael Jordan themed quote. I think he once said about people being scared of what he could become, him only being scared of what he won't achieve or won't become. So they popped them on the 3, 4 and 5. So I won't put an image of the 3 in because we have it here, but the 4 and then the 5, they all dropped back in 2013, along with this, which is the Air Jordan 3 Fear Pack. So retroed in 2023. The last time we saw them, the last and only time we seen these is back in 2013, which is 10 years ago now. So it's quite good that they have kind of like rounded off with a neat even 10 years. On here. So I'm going to shoot the sales receipt if I can find it from Finish Line. As I said, I delayed. I didn't go for these on drop day. I just had a hunch they were going to sit. I ended up picking them up $57 under retail, which I thought was pretty good. Basically, best part of $60 under. And when you're buying multiple pairs and they're creeping up to $210 plus tax, 8.25% here in Texas. So every little counts. The Midnight Navy Jordan 3, which I also really like, just dropped, and I'm doing the same with those. Hopefully I am able to get them, but yeah, I wasn't paying $200. Hopefully I can get them for around $150, $130 to $150, somewhere in that range. Cool, so let's go through the shoe. I'm just gonna pop one off to the side so it's not a distraction. And I might also just input some images of the stuff I'm talking about just to the side. Maybe I'll just hold this off to this side and then pop images up here, but as we go through. So we have the dark gray upper, which is that stadium gray, and it's in a really nice plush nubuck. And then you have some black hits at the top here, which is also some kind of nubuck. You have a grey on grey elephant print. It's like one of the darker elephant prints. And then the rand, so this medium grey, just in here, you can see it on the other side again, is a more crackled suede, which is quite nice. Again, more of that grey on grey elephant print on the toe box. And then one of the special features here is this gradient. So starting from a really light grey, the lightest grey on the shoe, and then it grades back into almost black, if not black. And also has some speckles on there, which to me I've always meant to be like, it's almost like nighttime. People, I guess, are afraid or fear the dark or the night. So that's what I've always taken it to be. And then you have mainly black outsole with those two hits of the safety orange. And then just to work through the orange, Jumpman on the tongue, up the top, and then the lowest three eyelets, and then Jumpman on the back. So cool, that's the pair. I am going to make a quick comparison. So I said they dropped before. I have the 3 and the 4. I'll link videos up here if I've done any reviews on them. I'm fairly sure I have. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the 2013 box. Just pulling out the left side. As you can see, these ones did come with the retro card back in those days or that era. So we'll have the left shoe from the 2013, the right shoe of the 2023. Again, what I'm going to do, because invariably what I'm seeing and what I'm talking about, it's quite difficult for me to get it on camera and look at it properly, because it's the first time I'm seeing these, so I'm no expert in terms of the differences right now. So I'm gonna, again, do this off to this side, pop some images just up here. Yeah, if you look down at them from like a wearer's view, this 2023 is much narrower in the toe. It's like a sleeker toe. One thing I will say, and bear this in mind, is these have been worn 2, 3, 4 times a year for 10 years, so somewhere between 20 and 40 wears. These have never been worn. So when I say that, part of that could be these are really tight factory laced and they've never been worn. But based on what I'm seeing, that is a difference. The tongue, you can also see, is really rolled back on the 2023. You can see the tongue padding. I way prefer the 2023 style to the older ones when it comes to that. The elephant print, it's a similar color. I do prefer the 2013. It's a slightly muddier grey, the lighter of the two. It's all grey on grey, but the lighter of the two greys is this, I don't know how else to describe it other than it's like a slightly muddier grey. I think the biggest difference that I prefer on the 13s over the 23 is this rand here, the crackled suede. It's much more crackled on the 2013. It's almost unnoticeable on the 2023 as it crackled. And then the biggest thing that I prefer on the 2023 is the shape of the toe box. So again, as I said, I'll be flashing images up, but the toe box on the 23 is much more sleek. The gradient is, I think, better on the 2023 pair as opposed to the 13. I think the gradient works better. It's more, imagine like a bad fade, like on a haircut. This here, you can see it, it kind of just like doesn't blend much, whereas that is much more of a blend. So that's just a tiny little thing. The quality of the upper, this middle grey, the main piece, is much better on the 2013. There's just no denying that. I think that quality looks much better. There's really no difference between the back tabs or the shape of that. There's really no difference between, I would say, the outsole. Also, it's the bit that touches the floor. I really don't care too much about an outsole. The eyelets, this grey and this grey here, they look identical. The sock liner looks identical. The bit at the top of the heel here looks identical, or at least there's small enough differences it's really not worth writing home about. The laces look identical. Probably the biggest difference is the insole. So they are stuck down. I don't really want to rip them out. I'll see if you can see this. If you can't, I will insert an image again. basically takes on the same design from the 2023 box. So what they did with these 2013s is, let's see here, it's just a black insole. What they did was, instead of putting it on the insole, they put it on the box. And now, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually prefer to have special features on a box than an insole. Whilst it's nice having it on the insoles, I never ever see it. At least I see it on the box every time I like kind of walk past the sneaker room. So yeah. So one thing I was gonna say is I was almost adamant that I was going to sell my 2013s, having bought these. I'm really not someone who kind of like likes to hoard stuff. Obviously, it's difficult to say that with like hundreds of shoes behind me, but if I have a pair I know I'm definitely never going to wear again, and if I have the same shoe, I mean, it's similar enough, right? I'm not going to wear the older one if I have the newer one, apart from my white cement. My white cement 3, maybe if there were a couple of renditions of white cement 4s. There's like a couple of shoes that I would do that with, and a few of my runners, like the really, really limited edition runners, I might keep because there's like 250 in the world. But with this, where this is now become a complete GR, I'm not going to be keeping both. Well, I was adamant I wasn't going to keep both. I'm 100% now, mainly because of the difference in this suede. That shoe is, I would say, heaps better in terms of that one feature. I do prefer the shape of these, and I do prefer the tongue and the toe box shape. I do also prefer the gradient on these, but yeah, every time I look over to those, I think to myself, like, if I was told you have to wear one of them today, I'd probably wear these 2013s. So that's a slight annoyance. And then in terms of like what that means for the rating, I would say this to me is a strong 8.5. Kind of means that these are probably somewhere between an 8 and a 9 as well. And then I'm just going to try these on, so I'll just insert some imagery up there just while I talk, just to give a chance to see what they look like on foot and on body. Depends, I don't know how many fits I'll do, it depends on how much time I get. So around Christmas it's not the easiest, so yeah, just let that run, done in a sec. So yeah, yeah, as I say, an 8.5 for the rating. They did make their way into the honourable mentions of my top 9 pickups for the year, and yeah, that's about it really. Yeah, it's another video I really enjoyed making. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching it. That's it from me. Over and out.